Postal Redux is a verbatim remake of the 1997 original Postal game with some quality of life improvements, except for fire, that spawned the various infamous sequels we know and love from Running with Scissors, the punk band of game development studios. The classic Postal game is now open source and it's available also on Mac and Linux, but given how spongy enemies are in the classic one, it's better to go for the Redux version. The dude here is basically bonkers. Paranoid schizophrenia makes him think everyone is out there to get him, so he unceremoniously starts a killing spree. Not hard to imagine why it got so much backlash back in the 90s. Then, pissing on charred corpses in 3D realistic environments was introduced in Postal 2 and everything was fine again, thankfully.
That's the ticket.
The tone is dark, darker than the bottle of a coal miner. It also anticipates the more off-kilter black humor of future titles, in a later Walmart parody level to be exact, where the dude snaps because the store doesn't sell copies of the Postal game, understandably.
What? You don't sell Postal?
This is the place!
In the original version there were fewer levels. Access Postage is the default go-to choice, which has 23 levels in total. Definitely a short game anyway. Its playtime is less than 2 hours, and even less than that for the Rampage mode. It's basically like the campaign, but with a tight drum and bass soundtrack, which is reason alone to have the game installed permanently, so that you can improve your score when you have some time off. There are still people playing it on multiplayer, which has surprised me. The game came out in 2016 after all. The number of enemies there is insane and it's good fun. Good luck hosting your game and waiting for strangers to join though. If you have 3 spare friends, it might be doable. If you are in your 30s, you'll have a better chance hiring sex workers to play with you. The gameplay loop is tight. Weapons have a satisfying oomph to them, even if ammo can be scarce at times. At higher difficulties it makes the game kind of a chore because you'll just have to stand in place and cheese the dumb enemies from a distance with the submachine gun. It slows the game down. Not fun. I beat the game on hard on my first playthrough, but I couldn't bring myself to do it for this review, this time around. You switch weapons depending on circumstances and it's fun. Throw a Molotov when you find a group of enemies and watch them burn. Then they touch you and you're on fire, baby.
Don't let him get away! Ow!
Or you miscalculate the area of impact of a barrel and you catch fire. Or you can see if you're close to a wall or a bush because the view is obscured by the level design itself and you catch fire. Or you destroy a turret, get too close to it and you catch fire. You catch fire and you go to hell. You go to hell, you die.
You go to hell! You go to hell and you die!
Fire is my biggest gripe with the game. Environmental destruction is fun overall, but barrels explode, and sometimes another barrel flies into the air and drops down again in a close by random place, creating another fire. You hope every single time it'll hit an enemy, but guess what? And since your movement is low and don't have any other routes at times, you'll have to wait for it to clear before moving again. It's not fun and you cannot piss on it. Not yet.
That's the ticket.
You can also get stuck in a loop where you can't get up after a turret locks you in a straight line. You can avoid this by ducking, but if you forget to duck, you're basically screwed. In the campaign, in normal mode, enemies are conveniently placed at a safe distance from the barrels, and it's a bummer. But on higher difficulties and on rampage mode, the enemies rush you and it's easier to pull off. Also in multiplayer mode, there are just more of them. And burn baby burn, Disco Inferno. We have a basic submachine gun with infinite ammo and good range, a shotgun with never enough ammo, a revolver with never enough ammo, an automatic shotgun with full range but pretty high DPS and never enough ammo, a rocket launcher with never, well, you know, but also homing rockets, a couple of fire-based weapons and throwables. Ammo is scarce, like I've said, and I don't like resource management in this kind of games. Get resource management out of my face.
I know you better get out of my face! Out of my face! Out of my face!
You'll find yourself playing a game of pool with the rocket launcher, calculating the right angle, time and time again. The military base was one of my favorite levels for this reason alone. On the same level, enemies spawn out of doors, and it's practical to throw a well-placed Molotov on the doors themselves. Guten Morgen, Flammenwerfen. Level variety is good. You start off from the dude's home, through a gas station, outskirts of town, a parade that we also had on Postal 2, but not on 4. Why? A junkyard, a trailer park, a farm. A construction site, a carnival with clowns Americans are scared by for some reason, a park, a military base. And then the levels from Special Delivery, which include the spoof of Walmart, a couple of other forgettable but fun to play levels.
All must die.
And a resort with old farts that I think are lawyers, and naked people running around. Bad taste has always been a staple of the series and I love it so much, especially now that porn has better writing than Hollywood movies. The last 2 levels take place in Japan, missed chance to let NPCs shout Godzilla at random times. The replayability is so, it's got some, thanks to the score for the Rampage mode, but that's not really saying much. And playing with other people in multiplayer. Steam achievements are nice, but There's also a quirky unlockable. By typing in "my name is not important" in the console, we can switch the character model to the unnamed main character of the Hatred video game or to a clown, which suggests that it's basically the same thing, and I don't think this was a coincidence. The game goes as far as switching the color palette to make it almost as unplayable as Hatred. Even the original voiceover is there.
Human scum.
I don't think it's a tribute, it's more of a statement that goes like, we did this before, and we did it better. If you're a fan of the Postal series and like top-down shooters, it's a no-brainer. It is a competent top-down shooter. It's a couple of hours of fun and mayhem for a couple of bucks. I just looked and found on Steam the Postal package, curated classics, including Postal 2, Paradise Lost, and Postal Redux, for actually less than €3. So, that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.